This chapter is harder to talk about, but it's an important part of my story. And I want to say this clearly before I begin. I was a child, and none of what happened was my fault. When I was 11, an older boy started giving me attention I didn't understand. At first, it felt like someone finally saw me. Someone finally noticed the quiet girl who always stayed in the background. Someone finally made me feel chosen. But what I didn't know then was that it wasn't kindness. It wasn't friendship. It wasn't care. It was grooming. At home, everything was already chaotic. My sister was getting into trouble with school, with the police, with older boys. My parents were overwhelmed, exhausted, and trying to hold everything together. There wasn't space for anyone to notice what was happening to me, not because they didn't love me, but because life was already too loud. And that's the thing about grooming. It doesn't always happen in dark corners or dramatic moments. Sometimes it happens quietly, in the gaps where no one is looking. Sometimes it happens to the child who never wants to cause trouble. The child who doesn't speak up. The child who already feels invisible. I didn't have the words for it then. I just knew something felt wrong. I knew I felt confused. I knew I felt small. And I knew I didn't know how to tell anyone. When you're that young, you don't understand power. You don't understand manipulation. You don't understand why someone older is paying attention to you. You just know you're a child trying to make sense of something far too big. What happened didn't just affect me in that moment. It shaped the way I saw myself. It shaped the way I trusted people. It shaped the way I moved through the world. It taught me to question my instincts. It taught me to doubt my worth. It taught me to carry shame that never belonged to me. And it took me years to understand that I wasn't to blame, that I wasn't complicit, that I wasn't mature for my age, that I wasn't special, I was targeted. Reflection, gentle, empowering. If you've ever been through something like this, I want you to hear this part clearly. You were a child. You deserved safety. You deserved protection. You deserved to be believed. And none of it was your fault. Closing, transition to next episode. This chapter of my story is painful, but it's also part of why I'm creating this space. Because so many of us grew up carrying things we never should have carried alone. In the next episode, I'll talk about how this experience shaped my teenage years, and how I learned to survive in ways that made sense at the time, even if they hurt me later. But for now, this is the truth of the child who was targeted. Thank you for listening to this chapter of my story. Talking about this part of my life isn't easy, but it's important, because so many people carry experiences like this in silence. If anything in this episode resonated with you, I want you to know this. You deserved safety. You deserved protection. And none of what happened was your fault. Thank you for being here, for holding this space with me, and for allowing me to speak openly about something so many people struggle to put into words. If you'd like to continue this journey with me, you can. Subscribe to follow the rest of the series. Like this video if it helped you feel seen. And share it with someone who might need a gentle, understanding place to land. Your presence here means more than you know. I'll see you in the next chapter.